Hail and well met. Welcome to the ninth episode of Isekai Realms. Ninth, I say in air quotes because who really knows? Anyway,
Who
I
really
am very
does, man?
excited to be a player in this game. We're going to get to our actual DM of the evening after I introduce all the players. And by I mean we, the team. Take it away, Allie.
Hello, everybody. I am Alexander Pitchford, or Ali for short. I am a writer, game designer, and TTRPG streamer. And tonight I am playing myself, but as an elf, my elf self. So let me talk about one of our sponsors first before we move on, though. And that would be Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Idle Champions is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons and Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure, including Farida, Havilar, and Mehen from the Brimstone Angels novels. The running no, that's not what that is old. But the game is available for PC and Mac and on Steam and Web, Epic Game Store, Google Play, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices. For more information, check out idlechampions.com. There will likely be some kind of seasonal event running, so please go check that out. You can usually get cool skins, new characters, all sorts of things. So well worth it.
Hey, I'm Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasy is Rhiannon Held, and space opera is RZ Held. In my day job, I'm a professional archaeologist. Nothing to do with anything, but it's interesting. And I have two other partners to tell you about. Both make dice. North Foundry makes metal dice. When you roll them, it feels you are skillfully smashing the rigid armor of the monster horde. You can find their dice and gaming accessories at northfoundry.com. Phoenix Dice is named for the creature that rises from the ashes because they use all recycled materials for their dice. You can find their dice and accessories at phoenixdice.com.
Hi, I'm Randy Henderson, author of the Fin Fantasy Trilogy and other things, and check out our Discord.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joel Everett, usually in the chat as one of your mods under the handle Rumpus Imperator. And yeah, that's about all I've got this week. Chris, over to you.
It's a slight week for the end of the lineup. All right, welcome all. I am Chris, your fearless dungeon master, or your dungeon master in any event. And when last we left our heroes, they had wandered into the Purple Lady, which is a fest hall of some note located in the town of Westgate. And the Purple Lady that they wandered into is not the one that they were used to being involved with 100 years in the future, but a bit of a darker Purple Lady. And they did so in pursuit of a lead for information on the potential whereabouts of Gedrin Falavar, the future Shadowbane. And they were expecting to run into someone who Eric knows extremely well. And it looks as though they have. And so by way of a quick recap, when last we left our heroes, the party, while originally being split up a bit when they came in, were just sort of serendipitously back together again in the hallway and a room on the second floor of the Purple Lady. In Arita, as she's going by these days, room was Eric and Allie. The way I pictured that in my mind's eye was Eric had just opened the door. Allie was just about to go around Eric, but was presently on the backside of the 6'7" Eric. 6'7", right, Eric? I'm not getting that wrong.
Correct.
Okay, there you go.
No, that's correct.
Okay, 6'7" Eric. And Arita was back there as well. Out in the hallway is basically the whole rest of the group plus Finnan. Finnan is the halfling bard / priest of finder who has been accompanying you and sort of your resident local guide and expert. I think at the front of that assemblage was Rhiannon, because she had been leading the charge to come up here and figure out what the heck was going on the second floor of this building. If I recall correctly, Rhiannon, you were attempting to get the attention of a few people that were busy doing other things at the landing. And then you all just sort of settled on this door, and lo and behold, in a Price is Right fashion, you picked the right one to select. And so That is where we will pick up. I imagine that both sides of the door being opened will be somewhat startled that other people will be on the other side of it. The first thing that will happen is that Arita will, in a sort of fast and furious whisper, say to you, Allie, Kashi, you must herd your friends back downstairs before our hosts start wondering where they went. They should not be up here. I'll join you in a trice. I need a swift word with our Bien. So that's the first thing that will happen after that door opens.
Okay.
Allie, what would you like to do having heard that?
I'll just kind of I'll glance over and just kind of nod slightly. I think I can handle that.
Okay.
And then I will kind of try to weave my way out to the others.
Plunge out into the hallway.
Yeah. Good to see everybody. We should all head back downstairs.
All right. So that you will move around Eric in the doorway, move in front of Rhiannon and say that. Rhiannon, you were probably about to say something, but were briefly startled by the appearance of Eric in the doorway. Allie will maneuver around Eric and sputter that out, right? You'll get a chance to say something in immediate response to that. Eric, you also might be thinking about saying something, but you see Allie go around you, and then you feel at the base of your spine a pressure. It's the tip of something. It might be that stiletto that was sticking in the table a couple moments ago. So if you want to say something there, go ahead. You may now talk to each other.
Well,
Rhiannon, you're looking well.
I mean, yes, downstairs leaving, good. I don't know that downstairs is necessarily going to be the easiest way to do that, but come on anyway.
Well, Amara just finished up with our friend, and I
stiletto is poking you in the back, and the person wielding it will say, "Close the door, Uncle. We need to talk."
I'll be right down.
You can, Eric, if you want to attempt to communicate. I'm trying to think of there were people that were taken prisoner by the North Vietnamese, and they were placed on television, and they were blinking to try to send a signal. If you want to attempt to communicate with the party that something's up, you can. Just tell me how you do it with your eyes.
Is it a 30 days of night situation?
Tell me what that means. I've seen it, but it's been a long time.
No, that's me asking.
I will say there are many friends of Bram Stoker around here.
Well, enjoy them. I'll be right down.
Well, yeah, and I will say, yeah, we should get back down to our table, I think. And I'll hold up the bottle of.
You do still have that.
Yeah, I'll hold up that bottle of Elverquist, I think it was.
That is correct.
And I'll just be like, I've got drinks. We really should get down there before people notice we're missing.
All right. So that's sort of the conversation in the hallway. Rhiannon, I imagine you're a little bit frustrated at that, right? Because you came up here to accomplish something. Well, your friend's frustrated about that too. And so in your head, we came here to stop playing games.
Shoot. So I think, so definitely, like, first, Allie, I'm sorry, but, like, whose fault is it that, like, we're up here? You go ahead, and I will try to open the door again on Eric.
Okay, I'll get to you trying to do that in a moment.
I will, at that point, then start to, like, all right, you've got this.
It's finally time to cast that first spell.
Am I going down by myself? Because I'll start like making my way down that way.
Finnan will follow you and put his arm in your arm, Randy.
Okay.
I think splitting up is probably a pretty bad idea. I mean, considering what's down there. Now that we know how.
The closest we play it to cool, the better this is going to go.
And Finnan will whisper in your ear, Randy, bringing you down a little bit to his level so that you can hear that as you are moving down the hallway. I think he kind of did that with his arm to get you to a place where he could talk to you alone. Lad, if that tapestry we passed and the choice of decorative colors of this place have it right, this pest hall, rather than being dedicated to Charesse as most are, is instead consecrated to the Lady of Loss. And this being Midsummer's Night, we can expect her faithful to have some plan afoot to spread wickedness and suffering to prove that she reigns supreme, even at the absolute nadir of her strength. You're at the end of the hallway by the time he finishes that speech. Allie, you're at the end of the hallway trying to...
Okay.
If Rhiannon is staying at the door, I am staying with her.
Okay, so the party is
nobody's by
presently
themselves in the
the
hallway.
party is presently in 3 spots. Go ahead, Randy. Did you want to say something in by response, and then I'll go back to first Eric
So
and
that
then
gives a
Rhiannon.
different meaning to purple lady, I guess. Okay. I will say, hey guys and gals and friends. You remember that place that had the load-bearing statue and the people who kind of occupied that sort of space? I think we're dealing with a similar situation here.
The emo one?
The emo one.
There is one thing
emo one.
There is one thing I didn't remind you about when we were doing our little pre-game chat. Remember, you can touch flesh and communicate here instead of having to use out loud communication. So I'm going to presume that you have already been doing that when you're standing close to each other. So right now, Rhiannon and Joel can do that. And right now, Allie and Randy can do that. Remember, Finnan's not in on that parade, nor is Eric.
And Eric, okay, yeah, Eric can't do it.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to assume that that's what you guys said down at the, or guy and gal said down at the end of the hallway. And now I'm going to go to Rhiannon. So there's a closed door in front of you, which was rather solidly shut. What's your strategy?
Well, I mean, first see if it's locked.
Try to determine if it is locked. Yes, as a matter of fact, it is. Hold that thought for a second. So, Eric, you meanwhile are on the opposite side of that door. When the door closes and your friends start engaging in debate out in the hallway, and some of them are moving away and some of them aren't moving away, she'll withdraw the tip of the stiletto from your back and move around to the front of you, sort of getting you to spin away from the door so that she's the door and you're... Are you okay with that, being moved away from that door?
If you want them to go, you should let me communicate with them.
Fine. Make it quick.
Can I just...
Okay. So the door's locked, but hey, guess what? In the second instance of ridiculous timing, you're trying to figure it out and it opens up again.
So,
she'll
there's a
frustration from behind you, Eric. Please speed this along. All of our lives.
It sounds like we're partying from dusk till dawn. So
yes,
you should do so safely. And as soon as I am done with this lovely lady here, I will be right down to join you. Don't wait up, however.
Will you,
Are you saying we should leave you? Ooh.
I mean, I have no idea for appetites. This is only...
He'll be down in a trice, as will I. We simply have to resolve a matter first.
Probably.
You could resolve it outside.
No, we can't.
Yeah. Yon Lady is unfortunately very cryptic, as I think you've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And whose fault is that?
Fine.
Okay.
This guy who's got two thumbs. Yes. Rhiannon, trust me. I haven't done a lot to earn that trust, but I'm trying to do everything to help everybody.
Seriously, he wants us to trust him.
So I'm thinking of doing something stupid.
Well, that all depends on the definition of the word stupid now, doesn't it? Tell me what your thoughts are.
Actually, no, I think if anybody needs to know that I'm about to do something stupid, it's Joel. So I'm going to go for the like fingertips on wrist.
Gotcha.
Of, like,
okay.
Hey, let's communicate. So to you, Joel, I'm going to say, I'm going to try to shake up Illyra. I don't know how well I can do it. You feel free to jump in because you have more knowledge than I do. But I don't think we should just leave him.
So that's to Joel, not to the voice in your head.
Yes, to Joel. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I will. Okay. That I will back up whatever you're doing.
All right. So Eric, could you roll a 20-sided die to see if you can notice they're conspiring?
Great. Don't forget what she did to your sister that one time.
Okay, fair enough. Yes. So she's going to push past her and close the door. That's good enough to have noticed that there was pausing and eyes traded, and you'll make that statement. If no one's stopping her, she will push right past you, Eric, and shut that door.
I mean, so I'm going to try to speak to her before, and I mean, I guess I can just raise my voice and speak through the door as necessary.
You can get a sentence off before it's closed, for sure.
Okay. I'm going to say, Illyra, you may find we have more knowledge than you realize, especially about certain allies of yours.
That's back in your back again, Eric. Close the door. That was a command. That wasn't polite or friendly in any way.
Thank you, Rhiannon. I shall be with you anon.
Okay. Why didn't we use fire?
Because I didn't want to go straight for the fight. Because it's
Very
two
well.
of us.
Plus, Eric
Okay.
would have been in the black. Well, never mind. I didn't hear that.
So now I've got to cycle
Burning
back.
hands.
I've got to cycle back through you all again. All right. So Allie and Randy and Finnan. Oh my. You're at the top of the stairs. You saw the pushing and the door shoving, and heard some whispered remarks at the end of the hallway. So there's stuff going on down there, but the door is now shut again. The people, the 6 or so individuals that are on this landing, don't care what you're doing or what you're saying. They're busy. So really, you're sort of on your own up here, but do you want to move forward towards towards Joel and Rhiannon, or do you want to wait for them to come to you?
I can't hear you.
Oh.
I was muted.
Okay.
It's always somebody. Anyway, my impulse is to try to, since it seemed imperative that we do so, is to probably try to get back down to our table.
Okay. So beckon them forward and then go.
Yeah, just like I'll start like moving back down to the table.
Randy, yes, no?
Sure. I will follow Ellie's lead, and I will start softly singing, "You're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna get you down." And start, because it takes 3 rounds in order of singing before I can.
That's correct.
Use bardic inspiration to protect someone. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start now.
That's a good moment, a good opportunity to do just that. All right, excellent.
Just start
Thank
singing
you.
softly to myself. Yeah.
All right. So, Joel and Rhiannon, you've had your conversation with Eric. Have we done all the good we can do here?
I mean, it's still through the communication bond, Joel.
Mhm.
I mean, burning hands through the door? Like, are we at that point? I don't want to be at that point, but
I don't think fighting our way out is really an option unless we're going out
That's
her window. So
what I thought. So,
I think we're going to have to let this one play out. So
I mean, because Eric did say to leave. Like, I don't really trust him to
And
read
he
the
didn't-
situation right, but
he didn't blink
Wisdom.
SOS at us, but
Wisdom.
he's also got he can also summon Vindicator if he needs to. So
oh, that's true. All right,
I think
let's go.
let's head out.
All right. As you're saying that, you'll notice you'll see the backs of your friends descending the stairs. Randy, probably the last one looking back in your general direction. So they're going to get to the bottom of those stairs before you do. Meanwhile, in the room, Eric, you've got a different situation. We went from playful to agitated in 0 to 60 seconds. Elric, who are you really? Why did you seek me out? Though you're clearly a Thalavar bastard or wearing the shape of one, I doubt very much this is simply about the life of one seemingly meaningless boy. Is this Thalavar justice finally come to revenge what befell Briar lo those many moons ago? Because that was not my fault.
I know that wasn't your fault.
Do you?
And no. Oh, yes, I do. Very few things that are blamed upon you are literally your fault. May have contributed, but you were simply trying to survive. You were a born survivor. You always have been.
You seem to know an awful lot about me for someone here after a boy. You've done your research, Elric. You sought out a past associate, used magic, faith, a whore, to transform some kind-hearted innocent into a form rather strikingly resembling my own.
That was entirely her own choice. She is also infatuated with you. I hope you know that. It probably was very clear.
You even borrowed my armor to help bait the trap. And the way you look at me...
Again, her choice.
So you're just going to blame that all on her, then?
Oh, yes. Not everything that happens is your fault. Some of it is her fault.
I'll keep that in mind. But, again, you haven't explained this. The way you look at me, like you know me, like you've seen me somewhere before, like you want me, but you're embarrassed that is so. You know, at first I believed her when she said you were a stiff-necked paladin and that your vows to your god and your beloved kept you from my bed. But now, and you'll see that her gaze will soften a little bit, sort of the intensity in her voice will drop slightly, almost as if she's sort of remembering something from the past. The last man who looked at me the way you do, like I'm a child, lost in the dark of the forest at night, surrounded by wolves. Who are you? What game are you playing?
Well, I'm certainly not that man, and I'm glad that you were well quit of him. He has also damaged my friend. That's why she was so untrustworthy, or untrusting, rather. It is a long story.
We don't have time for a long story, Elric.
Exactly. I have not done research upon you exactly. I know you from... You're exactly how I pictured you. That's the thing.
She'll smirk
and
when you say that.
It's really quite a credit to, well, that is also a long story.
Don't pat yourself on the back too hard.
Not a credit to me. We are in danger. I have sworn an oath
really?
to Helm.
We're in danger. Thank you for that information.
You're right. I have sworn an oath to Helm to protect this boy. Tell me where he is, and I shall tell you everything I know about you and whatever I can to help you.
So you're here to help me then, out of the goodness of your heart?
No, I'm here to help the boy. But I will help you to help him.
The boy is safe for the moment. He's alive because of me. He'll stay where he's at least until the morning. But for you to get him, you have to help me. And helping me is helping me out of here, especially now that the trouble you've been causing is afoot.
Can
And
you dance through the shadows yet?
You'll just say that.
I'll just ask her that.
I'm so sad I'm not here for that.
Stiletto's back out again. It was tucked away. Now it's back out in the open.
I'm just asking for logistical purposes.
For logistical purposes. Who
Right.
are you an
If you
agent
could tell them,
of the trickster? Is that who put you in my path?
course you
You
would
don't
think that.
strike me as a simple follower of the God of Guardians.
I don't
Here to
intend
do
to strike you at all, and I am not a simple servant of the God of Guardians.
well. Let's consider how I planned to use the word simple in that sentence before you answer it that way. She'll smirk at you again. You're at least proving entertaining for her, Eric, so that's a plus. Hold that thought,
It's
however.
intentional.
Our friends on the way back downstairs are on the way back downstairs. Okay, so those of you getting to the top of the stairs, you're headed down them. As you're coming down the stairs, you'll encounter a man, late 30s, early 40s, somewhat wealthy looking. Hey, Joel, excuse me, Randy, because you're at the front. You've seen this guy before when Finnan was holding your hand. That's not a person. That's a vampire. And it seems to be in position sort of at the end of the stairs, almost as if it's trying to keep people from going from the first floor to the second floor inadvertently.
Like facing up the stairs or down? Like, is he trying to keep people from coming down or coming up?
Kind of keep people from coming up, but when there's footsteps on the stairs from behind him, he'll certainly turn around in that general direction to see the three of you. Anybody have anything for this? You're in the lead, Allie.
I was.
Pardon, we were just trying to get back to our table.
Eyebrow goes up at that. Were you going to say something, Randy?
No, that's fine. I'm curious why I was gonna try and touch Allie and say, why are we going into the middle of all of the vampires again instead of a defensible position? But I don't think I can do that. Can I reach her? Or...
You could probably do that.
I'll touch her and just think that at her.
The vampire in question is pondering your response, Allie, kind of looking you up and down. And while the gears are sort of whirring along, Finnan will say, like, trying to move past the vampire, excuse me, but I need a drink after all that exercise. And the vampire actually seems to find that funny. I guess Finnan's an entertaining fellow. And we'll laugh and stand aside.
Yeah.
So
Well,
really, it's up to you.
Yeah. So you do that though with the hand on the shoulder.
Yeah, I'll just kind of like put my hand over your shoulder, like we're all just happily coming down from having fun. And
Yeah. I got the impression from Illyra that if we don't come back down, it's going to cause more problems than if we didn't, or if we did than if we did.
All right.
It sounds like the less suspicion we draw on ourselves, the better right now.
Okay.
And then
I'll
I will
say yes.
kind of
I could
ease.
definitely wet my tongue after all that exercise. Let's go.
Okay. So the back end
Like
of the
she'll mutter, phrasing, Randy, phrasing. And she'll head for the table.
the back end of the party will catch up with the front end of the party at that point. So Joel, Randy, you guys are all sort of now together headed towards the table. Do you, Joel, have a different plan other than going with everybody to the table?
Follow in their wake and just try to follow in their wake and act like we're probably leaving the same party.
Okay. I can tell you that the room you've returned to is even darker than the room that you left. There's no acts left on the stage. There's no one performing music in here. They're all just doing what they're doing all over this room. And your table and the food on it is still untouched. So you'll move over to it and grimly sit down. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
back upstairs. Go ahead, Eric. I believe you were the one who was about to say a thing. Oh, you know, you'd asked a question. Can you repeat it for me? Can you shadow?
Can you dance through the shadows yet? That yet is very important.
Mm-hmm. Again, regardless of whose shape you're wearing, you expect me to believe, knowing that about me, that you're just someone here to help.
I take that as a yes.
Smile,
And you haven't,
possibly confirming that fact.
and has Ildar taught you any magic? Probably not.
And those are eyes narrowing. Who are you, Elric? Someone that I know from my past?
We have never met.
So then who have you met who knows me so terribly well?
Look, I told you it was a long story. You told me there was no time for a long story. I haven't met anyone who knows you incredibly well, except for that lass who decided that she wanted to look like you.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I believe you when I say that that was entirely her choice. You strike me as more of a manipulator than you let on, Elric.
I suppose that's a fair assessment on your part, but the question still stands. Can you dance through the shadows yet? Because that would assist us in escaping. I am going to walk over as I ask that and try those shutters, because I know there's a shuttered window.
You will try the shuttered window. I don't know that it would assist us in escaping. Oh, and if it were as simple as that, you'll open the shutters and discover that the shutters are barred fairly tightly, like 6-inch bars, right?
Okay, so you could escape through here.
Again, if it were as simple as that, I'd have done it already.
So
all our windows are barred and warded, but it's not that. These aren't the kind of people, Elric, who let you just skulk away into the night. They own the night. So one way or another, Arita, gesturing to herself, dies tonight. That's the only way out.
Fair enough.
Oh, suddenly you agree?
What's your suggestion then?
Finally, a question that matters. I believe, just as you believe, Elric, that our patrons have set us into each other's path for purpose. I think we both agree that you're here to rescue more than just that boy. You're here to rescue me. Isn't that true, Father? You got a response to that?
If it's on the way, sure.
So that's just, I'm going to try to have a flat affect to the fact that she just accused you of being her father.
Yes.
Could you roll 2 10-sided dice for me?
He had a pretty good poker face.
Are you here to rescue me? Well, if it's on the menu.
Aren't you short for a stormtrooper?
Yeah, aren't you kind of short for a stormtrooper? What did you roll there?
Do you want is this
2 10-sided dice added
percentile?
together, possibly with me adding or subtracting something from it. This is 2 10-sided dice.
In that case, I got a 16.
Okay, so that's a good number. Yeah, that's the way you look at me, Elric. Like a father seeing his last grown to her beauty and power, filled with frustration and pride.
Oh,
I know not
halfway there.
You are endlessly amusing, and I don't know why nor what your true form is, but I don't care. For at least in one way, I am what you see me as, a maid in need of rescue, in desperate danger in the dark, surrounded by monsters. Will you help me, Papa?
I'm going to have to.
I'm just a girl in front of a boy.
I'm going to have to tell you who your real father is then at some point. But for now, yes, I will help you.
Good. That's the first smart thing you've said tonight. And on that note, back downstairs for a moment. So you'll sit back down at the table, and Finnan, looking around the room at this debauchery underway, will say to you all, stay close. Don't make eye contact with anyone. And he whispers to you conspiratorially, hopefully Elric will be quick, and we can get gone from here before the dragon's mouth begins chewing. But if we need to fight our way out, I'll try to hold them at bay while you clear the door. But let's pray it doesn't come to that. Anyone have anything to say back to Finnan?
Perhaps we should pick up our food and drink and decide to seat ourselves closer to the door.
What
That
are you
will be
afraid
your
is going
response?
to happen?
Are you asking Finnan or are you asking
Finnan.
Rhiannon?
What does he think is going to happen that we should be watching for?
Look around the room, lad. So
But then why are we down here?
I'm not the one who chose to send us down here. So you'll look around the room. There are, as I said, a dozen to a dozen and a half or so 40 to 50-year-old men and women, mostly men, around the room. In the phrase I used for the second floor was in flagrante delicto, with double to triple that number of younger, and that's late teens, early 20s, men and women. As I said, no more music, no more acts on the stage. The bartender's present, watching the room like a spider sitting at the center of his web. He's got that happy look on his face again. Perhaps that's something to do with the moniker. The purple ladies are all gone from here.
I believe that the term actually is infang grotto delicto. But
There we are. There we are.
Well, I think at this point I'll have collected the likely still full glass that I had left behind, and after giving a bit of a glance around, there's some kind of plan. That's all I know.
Well,
You know
I'm
who
still
she
softly
is. You know we
singing.
can't trust her.
I know that, but look, I will reach out and I will just like lay a hand, kind of try to drape my arm over Joel's shoulder if I can. Listen.
Is that now we're going internally? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going internally.
Pause that for a moment. Pause that for a moment, because Rhiannon, is there a reason they're ignoring you when you're the smartest person in this room?
It's better to work as a group than and so I'm starting to worry about your motives, honestly.
This place
Cooperation is
is
better than
disgusting. This place needs the cleansing power of fire, and we are simply sitting here waiting to be devoured. Those are my motivations. Our job is to protect those babes. Where are they? Back at the house. What good are we doing them here?
I was going to touch.
So-
go ahead.
well, so one last thing to the voice. So knowing this magic better than I do, can you promise me that I could get us out the door before I'm overwhelmed?
Yes. We can get close enough to it. There will be no door, nor anything between you and it.
Oh my.
And on that note, so Allie, you were draping your arm over Joel and giving some internal dialogue.
Yes. I know we can't trust her, but she wants out of here as much as we do.
So she's asking us to get her out?
Yes.
Oh,
She's asking us
okay.
to get her out of here.
Is there a plan? Can we try to make contact between the four of us around the table?
Absolutely. You guys you're
let's do
huddled
that.
in. Yep, absolutely.
But yeah, as far as I know.
I was.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
Okay. I'm trusting that there is one. She seemed to believe that it was going to cause problems if we all clustered upstairs for too long. If they I'm choosing to trust in the moment because this suits her needs as much as it suits ours.
I like Rhiannon's idea of getting as close to the door as possible. I think when they come down, we kind of just join them in a natural motion toward the door. Worst case, I can try and summon the shield to protect us either from them, or if Rhiannon wants to let loose with the fire, protect us from the fire as the last resort if we need to protect ourselves from it. And then
I mean, I'm reading this as we're past that. So I mean, I think the best we could manage is make our way over the door, wait to see Eric on the stairs, and then we get the hell out, and Eric and Illyra use the distraction. And they're on their own with that.
Now, question for the DM.
Yes.
Remind me, guards have moved to the inside of the doors now, like they're
Yes.
preventing people from leaving.
As you're talking about the doors, you're looking over in the direction of the doors. There is a table that's about 11 feet from the doors that is presently unoccupied. If you'd like to sort of like head over to that place as opposed to this one. So
Yeah.
does that mean, Rhiannon, that you're just going to get up and start going there? Because the last time you did that, people followed.
Well, I mean, so I'm not gonna like walk like I have a purpose.
Right.
The food, get a plate, eat something off it as I go.
Could you please roll a 20-sided die for me?
Okay. 20.
Oh,
That's
okay.
bad. So.
Nothing whatsoever to add to that. Please go ahead. Yes. Eat something off it as you go.
Oh, this is gonna go badly. Yep.
I will get up and move, take a drink from my glass, take the bottle with me.
So we're all just sort of casually relocating over to the table near the door.
Yeah.
So,
I
okay.
mean, make it
I'll
look
throw my
natural,
arm around Finnan and like kind of toss
Dagger
his
to
hair a
lean
bit
into each
and-
other a little
Yeah.
bit. And okay.
Yeah, I'll plop down, kick my feet up.
So as I was saying about that area around the front door, so what you've got there is you've got these two gigantic Eric, tall as Eric, but broader fighters. I mean, they're probably fighters, right? Just blocking that door. It's a wooden, iron reinforced door, big door, but obscured by these two individuals. And nearby-ish, there are other tables with people doing things. The closest to the door of your pointy fanged friends is a woman who is at a table about 8 feet away from the door. So probably could get in your path between the 11-foot and the table and the door if she needed to. But those bruisers are predominantly what stops you from getting through that door. You will all relocate to that table. Go ahead. Did you have something, Joel, before I went back upstairs?
I was just going to ask, are there any other people at the table with the female vampire?
Oh, yes, there are. Oh, geez.
Okay.
Now that you mention it, there is a man, teenager, who is passed out, just laying face down on the table. I don't know if he's still alive. And then there is a woman who's in a stupor, sort of slumped up against the wall, and the woman has her left arm languidly draped across her. You did ask who was at the table.
Okay, we'll just. That's good.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so on that note, we will go back upstairs to the second floor. So, Eric, resume.
So what was your plan to escape if we didn't arrive?
Well, I didn't really have a plan to escape before you arrived, but in my experience, these things just sort of work out for me.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm sticking close to you and hoping that the coin comes up heads.
She'll laugh at that. So, is it really Helm, or is it the trickster that you worship? I mean, you don't have to answer me, and I assume you'll be lying to me anyway, but...
I summon the sword.
Oh, okay. Now he's getting fancy. So,
It's really how.
so you'll just put your hand out and Vindicator will appear in it. Okay. She'll step back when you do that because you did just summon a weapon into your hand. And she'll look at you and she'll look at it and she'll say, you know, there's some chance you might just make it out of here alive.
I shall take that as a great compliment coming from the embodiment of, well, you.
I really want to know, Papa, what I'm the embodiment of, but I suppose that's a conversation for another time. Well,
It
Papa,
is.
will you free me?
as delicious as this is to tell you, I can't tell you what my plan is. You're just going to have to trust me. Oh, and trust in your God and that sword to protect you in the same way my patron just won't seem to let me die.
You are still wearing the amulet, right?
You can see it tight around her neck in a gorget.
I know. I just say that to her intentionally. Yep. Okay. Don't lose that.
I really want to peel you open to find out what's inside you. You aren't, and she just adopts a wary posture. You need to tell me you're not with him.
I am not with Lilton, no.
I haven't seen Lilton in some time. I need you to tell me that you're not with the person who's in the basement. Elric. Depending upon how you answer this question, you're about to get attacked or not. Just to let you know that.
I am not with him.
Well, I suppose we'll find out the answer to that question in short order. Well, time to go. Oh, Elric, tell my Kath she, when the time comes, and she'll know when, to say Genhawar Sahan. Could you repeat that for me?
I could, yes.
A clever boy. I knew you were a clever boy. Very well, Papa. Lead the way.
All right. How about you go first?
Do you really think at this point I'd let that trap disable you when you were my ticket out of here?
No, I just happen to like your backside more.
If you really liked my backside, and she will actually go by you as you say this, you would have taken the opportunity that you had earlier to enjoy it. And the door is opening.
Tell yourself what you like.
All right, so the door is opening. You are now leaving the room. Do you want to look back, do anything before you step out of this place forever?
Are there any useful items that I might have spotted in the room, like other weapons or like flammable things or?
Roll a 20-sided die for me, Eric.
Okay. That's a 5.
All right. There were no weapons whatsoever on display, with the exception of the stiletto, which was hammered into the table. That's now hidden on her person someplace. I did tell you that there were 3 stout chests and a dresser that was big enough to hide a body in. So who knows what could be in any of those things. There's a bit of jewelry. It could be somewhat expensive, but not wildly so, sitting on the sort of table, dressing table. There's
if she left it, we're gonna assume that it's not all that valuable.
Yeah. And funny enough, your brooch is still there. Remember the one you put on the table? The coin pouch is gone.
I take the brooch.
All right. So you'll reach over with your very long wingspan arms and snatch that up off of the table. Do you wish to tuck it into a pocket or stick it onto your person, or what do you want to do with that thing?
Yeah, I'll put it into a pocket. Is there an oil lamp of some kind? I assume that the room was lit in some way.
There was. I'll tell you about that in a second. I told you when you first walked in, but I'll remind you about it. Before you do that, however, I need you to roll a 20-sided die for me.
Mm-hmm. That would be a 13.
All right. As you're tucking that brooch into a pocket, you'll remember that if you expect a magic item to work, you have to wear it. In other words, if you're hoping to benefit from its protection, just having it on your person but not in the place that it's supposed to be will not guarantee that it will actually function. Now, that may not be relevant to you, but I'm just giving it to you because your brain knows.
I appreciate that. I just don't have full enough time to equip it while I'm just leaving the room.
Gotcha.
So,
okay, entirely
lamp?
fair. Yes, the oil lamp is a combination scented oil, and it is actually hanging from the ceiling above the bed, and it provides dim light for the room, and also sort of this pleasant, almost like a jasmine scent that pervades this room. The only way to take it down would be to literally go up there and try to yank it off. I mean, you're a tall fellow, you can do that.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how high is the ceiling?
Ceiling in this room is probably 9 feet tall.
Okay, great. I cut the lamp in half with Vindicator.
Okay, so to be clear, she is now a few steps out ahead of you in the hallway because you tarried to both grab that thing off the table and now to turn and take a swipe at the lamp. Okay. I presume what you're attempting to do is create fire. Is that a correct statement, Eric? Okay.
That is a correct statement.
Could you roll a 20-sided die for this attack upon a defenseless lamp?
19.
You are... I think perhaps we need to add Lamp Slayer to your title because that, my friend, is what you are. You will shatter this lamp in half, and the oil within it will dribble onto the floor and start a small fire. It's not that much oil, and it's going to take a while, but if you just let it burn.
Wasn't it above the bed?
It was. So you're saying, would it drop onto the bed? Answer to that question, you hit it with a 19, so I sort of presumed it flew. But if you really wanted it to land on the bed, you hit it with a 19. So you can kind of put it where you want.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
All right. You are burning the bed. Noted, Eric. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So on that note, you'll step out into the hallway?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you wish to close the door behind you?
No.
Okay, you wish to leave the door behind you open. All right, noted. All right, so you are going down the stairs, back down the stairs where everyone is there. You all have relocated to this table that is now closer to the door. You are having an internal conversation. Anything more important that you need to talk about in connection with that before people just start arriving from the second floor? I'm seeing no. To that statement.
Still quietly singing.
Okay.
I did have one thing I wanted to do.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm going to kind of focus inward, and I know I'm not asleep right now, but it's late at night, and I'm hoping I can get something. I'm going to go, I don't suppose, oh friend of mine, if you have anything that you might be able to do to help me get us out of this situation.
Could you roll a 20-sided die for me, Alec?
Yes, I can. That's a 19.
No response from the voice inside your head. Okay, so Eric, you're coming down the stairs. Got a big piece of metal in your hand. Is that a thing you want to kind of put at your waist so it doesn't look like you're waving it around? Or are you a madman down from the second floor waving a sword around? What's our strategy here? I'm not sure she'd appreciate that. I don't know if that's her plan.
Well, how'd she react to me setting the building on fire?
She either didn't notice or didn't care.
Cool. Yeah, I just leaned the sword against my shoulder.
Okay, so this is I have a sword, but I'm not swinging it at you right now.
I have a sword, but I'm swording casually.
Swording casually. All right. You will sword casually your way down the stairs. You'll note that when she's reaching the bottom of the stairs, that there is a gentleman at the bottom of the stairs that's sort of blocking the first floor from the second floor. That person will give way for her coming by and glance up at you, glance down at her. She'll wave, and they'll pay you no mind.
Great.
You are now out in the main room. Hey, everybody. It's Arita and Eric. Eric has a sword he didn't have a short while ago because nobody saw him with that, and except when he was back at Briar House. and they've just arrived from the second floor. They seem to have gotten past the vampire sentry with no trouble. Arita will give you a slap on the ass, Eric, while you're looking around the room to figure out where your friends are because they're not at the table that you left them at, and say, "I'll be with you in a moment, lover," jingling the coin pouch and heading over towards the bar. What do you wish to do, Eric?
I look around for my companions.
They're attempting to
down.
get you.
There's
See
waving
them.
going like over here, man. Come on.
Good, because
I'm
I was
sitting
going
there
to
with
roll
my
one of these,
glass
and you
and
never
my-
know what's going to happen.
I was
Anything.
sitting there with my glass and my feet kicked up on the edge of the table, just kind of
I head over
relaxing.
toward them.
Okay, very well. So you all see Eric coming over in your general direction. Good news. Nobody has anything before he arrives?
Nope.
Everyone who isn't Eric, please roll a 20-sided die for me.
Okay.
4.
3.
Yeah.
If you guys say 2-1, I'm going to be spooked out.
Oh,
10.
5 for me.
Okay. And 10. All right. You're mostly focusing on the door, right? Because that's what you're thinking. Through door lies freedom, right? However, those rolling a 3 and a 4 will also notice what's going on with Eric and Arita. She's headed over to the bar where she's, tossing the full pouch of coin that was given to her upstairs on the bar and chatting to the bartender. Eric is headed over in your general direction. Okay? Okay. And Eric arrives. Eric, your friends. They're seated around a table. Do you wish to join them? While casually sorting?
I do.
Okay.
Good-
So Eric will
good
sit
to
down.
Good to see you, none the worse for wear.
It looks a little worse for wear.
A bit of psychic damage, but otherwise unharmed.
So
I
can we
trust
go
you've
now?
been following Rhiannon's instructions.
He
She
trusts.
is our leader, after all.
They've been following. Oh, now you're their leader.
Is that how that works?
It is how that works. Was I not clear about this before? Let me be clear. Rhiannon is our leader.
I don't know if I want the responsibility for you
All right.
clowns.
Well, she's
right.
she's the one who's clearest headed right now. So she's in
I'm
charge at the moment.
Perfectly clear-headed. I don't know what you're talking about.
I point over toward the bar.
Oh,
And
she's
I
on her
give
way.
Allie
She's
like
on
a
her way back to you
sort
from
of
the
look.
bar. Okay.
All
So-
right. Well, let's assemble ourselves and sort of
Avengers assemble.
wander towards the
Or-
door
well-
and see
well-
when somebody starts to stop us. Yeah, Joel?
Well, I was going to say if we wanted to establish the link again, and I'll say to Eric first, hey,
Well,
we'll
we
clue you
can't-
in
we
a
can't
second.
talk
talk
to
to him.
me.
You can't
Right,
hear it.
but I'm saying out loud to Eric, we'll clue you in a second. But getting the link going and saying, okay, so if we want to get Illyra out of here, maybe the plan is we get her standing between us and the door.
All right. So
And then
stop
she shadow-
right there
She
for a
shadow
second.
dances out right before Rhiannon casts her spell, and then it looks like she's dead and vaporized.
So stop for a second there. So you're saying, okay, if we want to get Arita out of here, is where you were with your plan.
We know her as Illyra.
And you're saying to Eric, hang on a second, we'll fill you in, because they're clearly talking to each other. And you're getting up. This is sort of like because Rhiannon stood up, and she's in charge here. So I assume that
He could mean that they're going to fill me in on what I missed while I was upstairs.
he could mean
Which was
any number of
nothing.
things. Okay. And there were important things happening downstairs, Eric. They were in the
Lots
basement.
of
They did all kinds of
Vampire
things.
orgy. I don't know.
Who knows? Anyway, so as indicated previously, so you're sort of half the party standing up because Rhiannon got up, so a couple people at least got up. Eric, maybe not necessarily doing that, and here she comes across the room to you, and she'll call out as Joel is at about that moment in his internal monologue. Hello, lover. Rested for another round and move to embrace you.
Refractory period, daughter.
I will
Oh.
visit the cringe.
Remember on our last episode where I said, Eric, that frequently I think to myself, has this choice of words ever been placed in a sentence in English before?
Hopefully not.
I hope to God that they never have, and that they never do again. So anyway, you will say that. She will move to like embrace you, like pull you up from the chair, and like she's trying to talk to you, right? Trying to get to your ear to say something. Rhiannon, you're up, and you've taken at least a couple of steps towards the front door. Like, where are these? What are these people? Why are they not? And so you'll notice when you do that, that the vampire woman who was seated at that table stepped up when she saw you were headed and is calmly intercepted in between. So now you've got two hulking bruisers who are looking at you because you're headed towards the door. And this vampire woman who's standing between the two hulking bruisers, she looks like she's in her, like I said, late 30s, early 40s, has this sort of alien beauty to her, dark hair, pale skin, maybe a little bit of blood in the corner of her mouth because it's not like she wasn't just eating. And she's looking at you like, please try to go through me. That's what you're looking at right there, right? Who else immediately got up to follow Rhiannon? I assume Allie, no, because you were like, I'm kicked out on the table, casually relaxing.
I might have taken my feet down, but I am still seated at the table.
Okay. Randy, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so Randy is up. Joel, yes or no? You were going to fill Eric in, and so far Eric is.
I was trying to establish a link with everybody.
And that went to when they were listening for a moment, and then if you want to keep trying to talk to them, I guess you got to go in Rhiannon's direction.
Gotta follow them.
Okay.
Yeah,
so here's
Rhiannon knowing what's going on is the essential part of this plan. So yes, I will get up and try to reestablish contact with her and Randy if he's also close enough.
All right, so here's kind of how I see this playing out, right? I see you have this table near the door. Eric is at this table. He's getting to his feet because she's trying to communicate and embrace him and tell him some things. Allie is, feet down off the table, but hasn't stood up yet, right? Is that a correct statement? Yeah. Maybe watching these two to see what they're up to, more so than watching the three folks that are sort of staggering towards the front door.
That is a fair assessment.
Rhiannon, out in the lead because she is in charge here, is about 6 feet away from these three people, well, two people and a monster blocking the front doors, right? The Solid's front doors. Trailing behind her and sort of reaching out to try to touch her from behind is Joel and Randy, sort of like roughly even with each other. And the behind them is sort of Finnan, who's caught between two lovers feeling like a fool. Like, which group of people am I? Who do I help here? They're separating again. So there's that happening. So, Eric, she gives you a kiss. This kiss is a fake kiss. She is actually play acting as she's kissing you. So, it's all mouth or all lips and no mouth. And as she's doing that, she's trying to guide your hand so that she can hand you something, right? She's trying to give you an object, but it's like low below your vision, so you can't quite see what it is. As she says something to you, whispered, so you can hear it. What she says is this: with the boy, it was the best of several bad options. He's at the docks, in the hold of the Zulkir's pride, at least until the tides go out. May our patrons watch over us. What, if anything, do you want to do or say, Eric?
Don't trust the warlock.
Okay, so that's what you'll say. Sort of like swing away, if anyone here has seen Signs. Okay, don't trust the warlock. All right.
So the moment is coming soon.
So you will say that to her. You're focused on trying to communicate this with her, right? She's placing this object into your hand. Allie, please roll a 20-sided die.
5.
Okay, you're trying to figure out what's going on between the two of them. They're whispering to each other. An object is being placed into Eric's hand. Eric will realize what the object is at the same time that you realize what the object is. And that is the hilt of the stiletto that was upstairs. You'll see the flash of silver from it. Eric, you'll just feel that rectangular thing in your hand, and you'll sort of wonder for a second why a hilt of a stiletto has just been placed in your arm. And then the hand that isn't handing it to you grabs your wrist and pulls it forward. She says quite loudly, "Help! He's shot!" And then stabs herself with your hand, falling back, bleeding freely, and collapsing to the ground. So at the door, right? You know you're facing down this vampire woman and the two bruisers, Rhiannon. You know there's something going on behind you, but you don't care about that. You're focused forward. Are you ready?
I was gonna say, are you?
Time
to keep your
Always.
promises.
Yes. You will see a ghostly image, sort of like you know how the new Apple device allows you to engage with the world by laying images of the world over or things over the image of the world that you can see in front of you. So it's like a ghostly image of you, right? Placing your hands out in front of you with your thumbs crossed but not locked. Crossed but not locked. And your hands out like that, okay?
Yeah.
So you'll move to do that with your hands, right? Yes? Okay, you'll see the vampire react like, uh-oh.
You better run.
And at that moment is the moment when the whole so you what someone's yelling it's shadow and the stabbing and the falling over. The Mark doesn't care. The Mark's busy giving you instructions. However, as soon as she hits the ground, Eric, the lights go out in this place. Pitch darkness across the entire room. You'll hear screams, confusion, growling in the dark. You're just going to keep doing the stuff, Rhiannon? Is that a correct statement?
Yep.
Okay. So I know what Rhiannon's doing. I know what Eric's doing. He's going, 10 out of 10.
You did it. You did it.
Okay. Joel, what are you, in the instant of it plunging into darkness in here, what are you
Did
doing?
my infravision kick in now?
Takes a moment. It'll probably take you the round for it to adjust, although I don't think it'll stay dark in here for long, but that's just me guessing.
Well, yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
You're
Unlimber
about
my
to see a
shield.
big thing with your infravision.
Yep. Get my shield out of my arm and make sure that my weapon is clear for a quick draw.
All right, so let your hands off of your companions and go for your equipment.
Pretty much.
All right,
And
Randy, what are you doing in that instant when the darkness drops on all of you?
I've been softly singing, and now I will sing loudly, and to inspire my companions, to increase their chance of any savings throws.
Excellent. All right, what are you
What are
singing?
you s-
Refresh our recollection.
You're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna get you down. You're the best around.
Is
No
that
vampire's gonna take you to the ground. You're the best.
is that a 90s tune or an 80s tune, Randy?
That's an 80s tune.
All right, I
It's,
thought- I
Karate
thought so.
Kid.
Karate Kid.
You were right inside my wheelhouse, and God bless you for
Yeah.
that, Randy. Okay, so Rhiannon. Oh, sorry, Allie. In the instant of it gets bloody dark in here, what are you going to do?
I'm on my feet. Like I will get to my feet.
Mhm.
How long would it? Because I know I did the peace tie on my stiletto. How long would that take to undo? Fair enough. Since I can't see, I will start trying to do that. But I'm really ready to I don't know what's going on. But if I need to. Eric's got the sword. I will grab that stiletto from him if I have to.
Oh, the stiletto!
That's fine.
The stiletto is in her.
Oh, the
He
stiletto's still in
plunged
her.
it into
I'm
her.
gonna leave it then. I'll
She
leave it
grabbed
on
onto
the
it.
floor,
Yes.
maybe.
on the floor. I'm trusting this is part of whatever the hell she had in mind. So I'm just trying to get my weapon clear.
What I hear is trust to the plan. Trust to the plan. Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
All
I
right.
don't know the plan.
She doesn't know the plan either. Don't worry.
It seems to me like there's a lot of different plans happening right here. So back to Rhiannon. These are creatures of darkness. They fear the cleansing power of fire, and so you shall feed it to them until they choke on its ash. Words aren't as important as actions, but they help to shape the magic a moment. As I rifle through your, yes, this will do nicely. Please repeat after me, with intention. Anal Nathrak. Better.
I don't understand the reference.
Oh, you don't have that in your head? You've never
No.
seen either Excalibur, the 1970s or early 80s version of Excalibur, or Ready Player One?
Nope.
Oh my lord.
Yes,
Well, then I can't steal that from your mind, Rhiannon. So I'm going to therefore have to ask you, if you were going to say magic words, what would they be?
Unfortunately, like the stupid spell Latin is what I've gotten most of, and I don't choose to support that series and that author who
Fair
made
enough.
it most famous.
Fair.
Fuego.
Well, what? So
And
my language in school was Spanish. So why don't you go with what Infierno? I think is hell or something.
Yes.
So yeah. So go with
Okay.
that.
You'll need to just keep chanting that while the magic does its thing. Okay? Okay. So here's the point at which you all roll initiative for this round of combat. Okay? So remember that's a D10. Don't tell me what numbers you're adding to it quite yet, because that's up to me to handle. Okay, so just give me your D10. So Eric, what have you got?
3.
A 3. Okay. Rhiannon, 4. Randy.
Got an 8.
Okay. Allie?
1.
Oh, pretty fast.
Nice.
And Joel.
8 as well.
8 as well. All right. The first 2 people to do anything in this place will be Allie and Finnan. Finnan's small, and I mean that literally, and his size is actually small in terms of his modifiers, and he has pretty solid dexterity. And so when there are ties, tie goes to the person who has the better modifiers or higher dex or whatever the case may be in this case. So sort of an instant before you, right, Allie, Finnan is going to go.
Okay.
You will, before Finnan does anything, observe in the darkness as it's sort of setting in and your eyes are starting to adjust to it, hear growls and see red eyes opening all around the room. Eric, you can see through the darkness because remember, you have the mask on. So you'll be able to see. You're looking in the direction of where she was, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So her body still appears to be on the ground in a spreading pool of blood for what that's worth. Maybe that is, maybe that isn't. And all around that portion of the room, the vampires are starting to stalk forward. In other words, they push themselves out of their chairs. Their eyes are fluorescing red. There's like 18 of them in this room, Eric. It's not pretty. Oh, plus the bartender. And people are screaming and trying to stagger out of the way. It's sort of pandemonium in here. The first person, Finnan, to go, his action is to rather deftly, because little guy, high dex, hop up onto the nearest table. So basically, he was at the back of you guys, strung out between the 2 groups of you, not that you were terribly far apart. So the nearest table for him is the one that you left behind, the one that became your secondary table. So he'll hop up onto that table, and as he does so, there'll be a sharp, rising whistle tone coming from him as he's grasping the medallion around his neck, and it will blossom forth with pale moonlight that will radiate out across the rest of the room. That'll spoil people's improvision trying to change. It's sort of like you're trying to turn on your night vision goggles, turn off your night vision goggles, turn on your night vision goggles. And
Why do
so
I
you
ever
would
have this?
you were just starting to adjust to it for those instances where there isn't light. You were just starting to adjust to it when flick that came on. Great news for you, Rhiannon, because aiming is now so much easier. So that's a thing. And then again, up on the table, turns in your direction, Allie Finnan, and says in a whisper, "Run now." What do you want to do? You're next.
All right. Yeah, I will do that then. I will trust Finnan and take off. I will take off toward the door, I guess.
Okay. So you'll move in the direction of your party. You'll see that they're just a few feet away. You have two options. You can get up even with Rhiannon, or you can get in front of her. Which of those two things do you think is a better idea?
Even. I'm not going to get in front of Rhiannon.
Okay. Right.
Was I able to even get my stiletto undone in that time period?
No,
or...
you did a great job tying it the way it was supposed to be tied. So you're yanking at it as you move. All right. Hello, everyone. We had a little technical problem there, but we are back from that technical problem only in time for us to take our first break of the evening. So let us do that now, and you may rejoin us with excitement in just a moment.